Natasha, and thank you so much for joining me today. Well, today we have a fun fold, and this one is one I've done before, but I'm going to do a twist on it and make it a double. And so this is going to be the circles card, a card made out of only circles. You make the card base out of them, and this one is super easy. So for this one, I'm going to use the Botanical Blooms Paper Rose paper pad. These are 6x6 pieces of paper. Now, this is kind of one of those paper pads that it is beautiful, and I know I could use it up, but it's sort of sat here, and so I want to make an effort to use it because I purchased it, but B, this is one that, you know, you really it can hide quite a lot, I guess. You get to see only portions of the finished circles. So if you have like parts on them, you can kind of choose the parts that you would like to see. Now, I am going to be using the Hero Arts Infinity die sets because this makes life so easy. A good stacking die set is worth its weight in gold. And I'm going to just pick one out. It really doesn't matter. You'll see that these are going to fit in a regular square card. You can also just put them in a rectangle one as well if that's going to make postage cheaper. But you can make these any size, and you'll see I do that in just a minute. I'm going to take 2 of each design. So I need 4 circles. That's all you need for this card is 4 circles. So I've cut out 2. The back sides of these are relatively plain. And that is going to help me out a little bit because the front sides of these are pretty busy. Now, this is the leftover scraps here. Don't throw these away. We're going to come back to these. So, although we have taken a nice chunk out of the corner of them, I did do it down in the corner so that we were able to use more of that soon. Now, a couple of options here. If you like things to be nice and precise and neat, then I have the trimmer that has the scoreboard on it. You could just use a regular scoreboard that you have like that, but you could score these either which way, and you just need to find the center. So for these circles across, it is 4 1/4 inches, and so I'm going to go 2 1/8 inches, and so just find the center, find whatever half the circle is, and then put a score line down the middle, and you can use a scoring tool such as this one, and you know, makes a nice neat job. But honestly, I find it just as easy just to fold these in half. Now, this kind of does depend on the type of cardstock you're using. Some cardstock is prone to cracking a lot more. Some is prone to those wrinkles that we don't like. This one is not at all, which I really like. It's a beautiful weight. It's sort of a mid-weight, I would say. And this means that I can easily fold these, just folding them the normal way without any score lines, and they're going to work well. Now at this point I was deciding that actually I think maybe I would do a busy pattern with a quiet pattern, so to speak. That's, the plain pattern. And so that's why I switched those ones in the other direction. Now here's all you have to do. With those score lines or the fold lines, you want to make them make a square. And basically you just layer one on top of the next, on top of the next, and then they just fit together like this. And so you will need to add a little bit of glue. You can use, of course, just dry adhesive, but the glue gives you that wiggle time. And so what I tend to do is I tend to get them all right in place, exactly where I want them to go, and you can kind of close them all up and make a perfect square, so to speak. Make sure each of the corners is exactly on the corner with the other one. And then all I do is turn this over to the back, and I put a little bit of mint tape in place just so it holds it whilst I glue everything. Now, mint tape is just a low tack tape. This one is from scrapbook.com, and they often have a 50% off sale, sometimes even 60% off their brand, their scrapbook.com brand. And so that is, and I have loved their stamps, everything. So that is a good place to get this mint tape. I did a lot of research about, 6 months, 9 months ago on low tack tapes, and I bought all of them. I bought so many, and this was my favorite by far. So I have stuck with this one. Now, I just lifted up each one of those little flaps and popped in some liquid glue, and then this glue dries very fast. This is the art glitter glue, and so I'm able to take off the back. Now, if you want to keep this as a regular card, stop here. You could pop in a little insert such as this one, and it gives you a place to write. But we're going to keep going with this one. You could also pop in a smaller piece like that so that you could see more of the pattern paper depending on how much you want to see. But actually, I'm going to take those pieces that we had before, and I'm going to double up on this circle card. So I have got another circle just from that same die set, and I am going to die cut all of these out just in that corner. Now I sort of just made it big enough that I could fit it. I didn't do any specific measuring. I know it's going to fit inside the other one because simply it's a smaller circle. And then again, the same process. Decide which pattern you want to be seeing. I sort of, with these blue ones, see how it has that big pink flower? I made sure that that was in the middle of like one of the halves, rather than, like the fold line being on it. I made sure it was in the middle so that I knew I would let that flower be seen when I put these together, if that makes sense. And then once I do fold these by hand, I run over them with my bone folder just to make sure they've got a nice, neat, crisp fold line as well. So when I put these together, I'm deciding to have the same pattern that I have on the other way, and you can see I'm making sure that that pink flower is essentially going to be on the outside, the flap there, so that when you open it, you'll see it. So I do that for both of them. So if there's part of the pattern paper that you want to be able to see, then make sure that you have it sort of facing outward, so to speak. And then you can see there, all I do is make a perfect square out of these folded elements, and you just keep putting the next circle sort of on top of the last. So I put it glue there and put the circle on top, and then again I would turn it around 90 degrees and put the glue on the top, and then put the circle on top as well, and then these fit together nicely. And so, as I said, the liquid glue gives you a second to adjust. So there's the glue on top, and then pop that down. Don't forget to do the final little flap there as well, the final little corner, and pop some glue underneath there. But I just keep folding it and making sure it's sort of, all fitting together nicely. This is the final little bit that I need to do, and then this one is like a mini of what we just created, which is quite cute. And I think part of this is the fun of doing and undoing these cards, because it's really easy to put together. It's really fun. Again, this is another good one that you can do with kids because they're very much able to do this, especially if they have the pre-cut circles. Now I could do this one on a diagonal, or I could line it up nicely with what is already in there. Either would be fine, but there's a lot of pattern going on here. So when I close this up, it's a lot of pattern. I can see how it's going to go. It closes nicely. I did decide to add in a little background piece as well, just to separate it out a little bit. And so that piece of white cardstock that I had just a moment ago, I showed you that you could put on the inside of the bigger one. Well, I am going to use that piece as a little, just breaking it up. So just plain white cardstock, and that will just separate these two just a little bit. But I love this idea. I think it's quite a fun card to open, I guess. And as I said, really easy to create. All you need is 4 circles, and it looks fancy, but it's actually really easy. So then I decided, should I put this one straight on or on a diagonal? I think a diagonal looks kind of cute. It's a little bit different, and it makes the pattern go in a different way. Now, I do still need somewhere to write. I need to remember that, and so I promise the plan is I am going to put a piece of white cardstock on the inside of the smaller one. Now, I am going to make it pretty much the size of the inside there, because this is a small space at this point, but, it's plenty of space to write a message, but, I want to make sure there is space, and so I'm going to make it pretty much the full size, and I'm okay with that because we can see plenty of the patterned paper. And then really, it's just a matter of having a play and making sure that everything folds together nicely. This one, I will say, is one of those ones that you just keep folding together and unfolding, and I will say my kids took off with this one because they thought it was a bit of magic. So that's all you do is pop it in, and it keeps itself closing. If you wanted to, like if you're going to put this through the mail, you might want to consider some sort of belly band or something, but actually it keeps itself closed really nicely. If you want to address the front, again, you could put a little, like a white piece of a die cut or just a piece of rectangle cardstock on the front so that you have somewhere into space to write. But this for me is usually going to be a hand delivered card, or pop it in with a gift, or something like that. But it is very fun. So you just do all the 3 and then tuck this one in behind, and that was a fun card to make. So I hope you enjoyed the double circles fun fold card today, and of course please like, please leave me a comment, and share this page if you think there is someone who you would enjoy making or creating this. And I will see you in the